All right. Yesterday, we had a huge election throughout the UK. Their national parliament elections, and it was an absolutely breathtaking destruction of the Tory party, the so-called Conservatives. I'll show you why in a mere moment. But the huge news of the night was the rise of Nigel Farage and the Reform UK party. They absolutely crushed it. For the first time, Nigel Farage, the original leader of the successful Brexit referendum, he is now officially entering Parliament. President Trump sent his congratulations to Farage, who won the seat in Clacton, which is it's a coastal city in the southeast of Britain, if I recall correctly. Here is the British political scholar Matt Goodwin on what really happened in terms of the seismic political shift all throughout the UK.
So Reform, overall, the vote's gone up 13%, but what's happened is the Conservatives have basically collapsed in the most pro-Brexit parts of the country. So, if you look at the less Brexity seats, the Conservative vote share's gone down 12 points, but get this, it's gone down by nearly 30 points in the most pro-Brexit seats. So what's happened in those areas is that big Boris Johnson coalition, working class voters, older voters, culturally conservative voters, very sceptical about mass immigration, anxious about the small votes. Basically, Reform have stormed through those areas and cost the Conservatives a lot of seats. So if you put the Conservative, the margin of defeat for Conservatives is smaller than the vote for Reform in about 180 seats. So that gives you a sense of the scale of low-level damage that Nigel Farage has done.
So what Matt Goodwin is getting at there is basically yesterday in the national elections across the UK. Yesterday, we saw a massive, and I mean a massive Tory coalition completely unravel and collapse. So this goes back to December of 2019, the Conservatives, the Tories, same thing, won the biggest landslide victory they had won in nearly, we're talking a century. It was absolutely astonishing. And it was all based on they were going to, quote, get Brexit done. So they became the true Brexit party. There was a Brexit party at that time, led by Nigel Farage, that sort of stepped down, said, we'll support the Tories. You need to get Brexit done. It was a watershed moment in UK politics because it wasn't just Brexit. It was, we're going to stop immigration, right? We're going to stop all this woke nonsense. We're going to cut taxes. It was a strong nationalist, populist, traditionalist platform. And what ended up happening is in December of 2019, it was really a watershed moment in UK politics. You had region after region after region that had never voted Tory before, very blue-collar, working-class regions that were once the foundation, in many ways, of the Labour Party. They suddenly defected. They switched over. They voted for the Tories en masse. Very, very similar to what happened here in the States back in 2016, when nearly 200 counties in Ohio and Wisconsin and Iowa and Michigan and Pennsylvania that had voted for the Democrats in every single presidential election for decades suddenly switched over and voted Trump, some by a 20-point margin. Okay. December of 2019 saw the same realignment, political realignment, with the same kind of political defections from Labour over to the Tories in the UK. And while Boris Johnson and the Tories negotiated a relatively good Brexit, they completely betrayed their voters on immigration, wokeness, taxes, you name it. I came across, just to give you a sense of how angry the Brits were at the Tories yesterday, I came across a very interesting stat. 40% of all foreigners in the UK right now, 40% came in the last 10 years under Tory rule. The Tories have ruled for the last 14 years. December 2019, they just increased their majority overwhelmingly. But Tories have been ruling for the last 14 years. And during that time, when Britain was dominated by a party that had promised to close their borders, it was during that time that Britain saw its single most massive surge in immigration numbers ever. And so what Matt Goodwin was saying there is that yesterday, that coalition that formed back in December 2019, where you had working class regions voting for the Tories, that coalition totally collapsed. Now those regions are voting Reform, the Reform UK party of Nigel Farage, who was the original leader of Brexit. The most pro-Brexit regions throughout the country completely turned their backs on the Tories. By the way, congressional Republicans, beware. Congressional Republicans, Mike Johnson, beware. What happened across the pond is exactly what is going to happen to you if you continue to treat your core voters with comparable contempt. We will eventually turn on you. And that's exactly what happened in Britain yesterday. The Tories' vote collapsed by 30% in the most pro-Brexit areas, and those voters defected en masse to a brand new party that's not even 4 years old. It's called Reform UK Party. And they are a thoroughly nationalist, populist, traditionalist party. And they won almost 20% of the vote all across the UK. Hey, gang, with everything going on right now, it's hard to say what could happen or what will happen. And to make matters even worse, we usually don't find out until it's too late. But when it comes to your money, you should understand what's at stake. That's why I partnered with Goldco. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of hedging future risks with the timeless value of gold and silver. And that's why you've got to click on the link below or go to turleytalkslikesgold.com to get your free gold and silver kit. Gang, it's an amazing free resource that shows you step-by-step how to get into precious metals tax-free and penalty-free, even if your money's still in a retirement account like an IRA or a 401k. And the best part is that you may already qualify to get up to $10,000 in free silver. You've seen the writing on the wall. Click on that link below or go to turleytalkslikesgold.com to get your free gold and silver kit right now, because this is about taking back control of your freedom and your privacy. We can't predict the future, but we can certainly prepare for it. So don't wait. Take action now to defend your freedom, your privacy, and your future. Click on that link below right now. So now, what you're going to hear a lot about is, oh no, their leftist Labor government won. They're going to be in charge for the next 5 years. And they did. They won overwhelmingly by over 400 seats. Keep in mind that vote. And we had Dan Tubb on from the Lotus Eaters, a British, a UK channel. We had him on last week to explain what was about to happen. That vote for Labor was intentional. It was not a vote because people loved Labor. Actually, generally, most Brits don't. It was a vote intended to decisively punish the Tories and force them to become a truly conservative nationalist populist party like Reform. And now, with Reform pulling in almost 20% of the vote, Reform will, I believe, try and I think successfully pull the Tories in their direction so that for their next election, we may be seeing a nationalist populist supermajority with a revamped Tory party and a surging Reform party forming a massive coalition. So we'll see. We'll see if the Tories learn their lesson. But either way, that was some pretty amazing stuff happening all around the world, most especially the UK. And then we've got France's election coming up. This Sunday, where National Rally looks like they're going to storm the French Assembly, their parliament. So amazing stuff happening all over the world.